Hi everybody, Joe here, K7JOE, and as you can tell, it's pretty cold here in Indiana. It's about 14 degrees out, but a beautiful blue day after Christmas, December 26th, and I'm getting ready for what's known as the Stu Perry Distance Challenge. It's a 160-meter contest, and the object of the contest is to work other grid squares, which is pretty interesting. Most contests don't have that as an exchange, so it's a pretty useful exchange. You actually can know where your signal is heading. You can plot that on a map after the contest. It's pretty cool. But what's really fun about it is it's a contest that's run by the Boring Amateur Radio Club in Boring, Oregon, and they have a whole bunch of plaques for different kinds of entry class. And so it's a lot of fun. It gets a lot of folks involved in 160 meters that otherwise wouldn't. I wanted to do a brief update here on the antenna that I've built for the contest, and I've done a little bit of work to it, so I want to stop and have a quick look at the antenna that I'm going to be using in the 2020 Stu Perry Challenge. Okay, this is Joe here, and what we have, it's that coil that I made up. It allows me to resonate the inverted L on a few spots in the band. And I've added a couple more tap points to it. I've also put a glass mason jar in the middle of the coil, knowing that that's an insulator. Glass is a good insulator, and it would keep the coil from moving around. It seems that when the wind blows, it pulls the antenna wire, and that causes the coil to deform. And so this mason jar basically just gives a little bit of rigidity to the coil. And it's not a permanent situation here. I just built this for the contest basically, or for the winter 160-meter season. I'm using 5 elevated radials. 4 of them are full length. The yellow and the white are full length, about 132 feet, and they're about 10 feet off the ground. And then I've got a 5th wire that I put on, which is just about 70 feet. And I just am putting it on to test it. It seems to change the resonant point of the antenna just slightly. And so I just, again, just experimenting. The other thing that I've added here is I've added a 3 mega ohm resistor across the coil. It goes from coil to ground. And there's no ground here. There's no ground rod. So there's no effective DC ground until I get to the ham shack. And going into the window of the ham shack is, of course, a DC ground terminal. And so what I've done here is I've shorted the coil to ground, and I guess in theory then that allows a spark, in effect a DC shunt to ground, which will prevent maybe some static electricity. Of course, again, the gap between the hot lead and the ground is pretty narrow. It's 1 millimeter, so if there's really a significant amount of static, it'll probably arc across that. Of course, it would probably damage the radio also, hence the reason for the 3 mega ohm. That's a 3 meg 2 watt resistor, and to just have it soldered again to the bottom part of the coil and the essentially the ground area. Okay, that's it for now. We'll see how this thing resonates in just a minute. We'll go into the ham shack next.